Lena texted me Thursday morning saying she had a surprise. Someone special was in town and she wanted me to meet him. His name was Caleb, her cousin from Seattle. She said he just moved here for work and didn't know anyone yet. I thought it was sweet that she wanted to include me in her family stuff. We'd been together 18 months. I paid most of our bills since her marketing job was building momentum. I trusted her completely. That Thursday night, we met at Romano's, this Italian place downtown. I got there first, wearing the button-down she liked. When Lena arrived, she wasn't alone. The guy beside her was tall, confident, with expensive clothes and a smile that seemed too comfortable. But what happened next made my stomach drop. He hugged her, not a cousin hug, not a family hug. His hands pressed against her lower back. The embrace lasted 8 full seconds. Her eyes closed. She melted into him like she'd done it 1,000 times before. When they finally separated, she was glowing. I stood there holding flowers like an idiot, watching my girlfriend look at another man the way she used to look at me. She turned to me all casual energy, like nothing strange had happened. "Babe, this is Caleb. Caleb, this is Marcus, my boyfriend." Caleb extended his hand with this knowing smirk. His grip was firm, almost challenging. "Good to finally meet you, man. Lena talks about you all the time." His tone felt wrong, like he was in on a joke I didn't understand. I forced a smile and shook his hand. We sat down. Lena positioned herself between us but angled toward Caleb. They started talking about Seattle, about old memories, about inside jokes I wasn't part of. She laughed at everything he said, that laugh the one I hadn't heard in months. My chest felt tight. I ordered water. The waitress asked if we wanted appetizers. Lena didn't even look at me. She asked Caleb what he wanted. He ordered for both of them. I sat there invisible. When the food came, I barely tasted it. I watched them instead, the way she touched his arm. The way he leaned in when she whispered, "Cousins don't act like that. Nobody acts like that unless something else is going on." On the drive home, I couldn't stay quiet. "That hug was pretty long," I said, keeping my voice steady. Lena laughed, but it sounded forced. "What are you talking about?" Her tone had an edge. "You and Caleb, that wasn't a cousin hug." She turned toward me, eyes wide with mock disbelief. "Oh my God, Marcus, are you seriously jealous of my cousin? That's insane." I gripped the steering wheel. "I'm not jealous, I'm uncomfortable. The way he touched you, the way you looked at him, it didn't feel right." She scoffed. "You're being paranoid. Caleb and I are close. We grew up together. That's just how our family is. If you can't handle that, maybe you're not as secure as I thought." The gaslighting hit like a slap. She turned the whole thing around, made me the problem. By the time we got home, I felt crazy for even bringing it up. But that night, lying in bed while she scrolled her phone, I couldn't shake the feeling. Something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. The next morning, I woke up to Lena already dressed and rushing out. "Caleb needs help moving furniture into his new place. I'll be back later." She kissed my forehead like everything was normal. I sat there, coffee in hand, replaying the previous night. I opened my laptop. I wasn't trying to be sneaky. I just needed to see if I was crazy. Our shared cloud account was still logged in. I found photos from 2 months ago, ones she never showed me. There was Caleb at a concert. At brunch at the beach, she cropped me out of her life and inserted him instead. My stomach twisted. I kept scrolling, a video from 3 weeks back. Lena and Caleb at a rooftop bar, his arm draped over her shoulders. She was calling him babe in the caption before quickly editing it to cuz. The timestamp showed she'd been with him the same night she told me she was working late. I sat back, the weight of betrayal settling into my bones. This wasn't paranoia, this was real. She'd been lying for months, maybe longer, and I'd been too trusting to see it. I didn't confront her when she came home. I stayed calm. I asked simple questions. "How was helping Caleb?" She was cheerful. "Good, his place is coming together. You'd like him if you gave him a chance." I nodded. "How long have you two been so close?" She didn't miss a beat. "Since we were kids, I told you that." I pulled out my phone, opened the cloud photos. "Then why are there pictures of you two from 2 months ago that you never mentioned? Why did you call him babe?" Her face went pale, then red. "You went through my stuff. That's a violation, Marcus. You don't trust me at all." She flipped it again, made me the villain, but this time I didn't bend. "I trust what I see, and what I see is you lying to me." She grabbed her purse. "I need space. I'm staying at my sister's tonight." She left, slamming the door. I stood in the quiet apartment, my chest tight, but my mind suddenly clear. She wasn't coming back to apologize. She was buying time to cover her tracks. That weekend, I didn't chase her. I didn't call or text begging her to come back. Instead, I started looking at everything with new eyes. The bills, the bank statements, the patterns. I realized Lena had been using my money for months while telling me she was struggling. She'd claimed her car payment went up, that her student loans were crushing her, that her job wasn't paying enough. I'd believed her. I covered her share of rent, her groceries, her subscriptions, even her gym membership. But when I checked our shared expenses tracker, things didn't add up. She'd been pulling 300 here, 200 there, always with some urgent story. Meanwhile, her Instagram showed new clothes, expensive brunches, concert tickets, all the things she claimed she couldn't afford. I pulled up her Venmo transactions, ones she'd forgotten to make private. Payments to Caleb, over and over, splitting dinners, splitting rides, splitting hotel stays. My hands shook as I screenshot everything. This wasn't just emotional cheating, this was financial betrayal. She'd built a second life on my dime. Monday morning, Lena came back acting like nothing happened. She walked in with coffee and a smile. "Hey babe, I missed you." I was sitting at the kitchen table with a folder in front of me. "We need to talk." Her smile faded. "About what?" I opened the folder. Bank statements, screenshots, receipts, about where my money's been going. Her face shifted through confusion, defensiveness, then anger. "You're tracking my spending now, that's controlling." I stayed calm. "You told me you couldn't afford rent, but you've been paying for hotels, concerts, and meals with Caleb for months." She tried to laugh it off. "Those were group things, you're twisting everything." I slid a screenshot across the table. A Venmo payment to Caleb with a heart emoji. Caption, "Best weekend ever." She went quiet, then she exploded. "You know what, maybe I have been spending time with Caleb because he actually appreciates me. He doesn't interrogate me or make me feel guilty for having a life." I nodded slowly. "Okay, then you can have that life without my money funding it." I told her I was done covering her expenses. Rent, groceries, subscriptions, all of it. She could handle her own bills starting immediately. She stared at me like I'd spoken another language. "You're seriously cutting me off over this? That's cruel, Marcus." I stood up, my voice level. "You lied to me, you used me, you built a relationship with another man while I paid for your life, that's what's cruel." She tried tears next. "I made mistakes, but I love you. Can't we work through this?" I shook my head. "No, because you don't love me, you love what I provide." Her tears stopped fast. Her expression turned cold. "Fine, I don't need you anyway." She grabbed her purse and left. For the second time that week, the door slammed. But this time I felt relief. The weight I'd been carrying, the constant anxiety of not being enough, it lifted. I wasn't the problem, she was. And now she'd have to face the consequences of her choices, without me as her safety net. The next few days were silent. No calls, no texts. Then Thursday night my phone exploded. Messages from her friends, from people I barely knew, all of them telling me I was heartless, that I'd abandoned Lena when she needed me most. One message from her best friend Riley was particularly aggressive. "She's crying every night because of you. How can you be so cold?" I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I posted a simple statement on my private social media. "Sometimes walking away from manipulation is the healthiest thing you can do. I wish everyone involved the best." I didn't name Lena, I didn't share details, but the people who mattered understood. Then I got a message from someone unexpected. Caleb's ex-girlfriend, a woman named Monica. She'd seen the drama online and reached out. "I don't know what Lena told you, but Caleb isn't her cousin. They dated for 2 years. She was the reason we broke up. She's been playing you both." My blood went cold. I asked for proof. She sent screenshots. Caleb's family tree, public records, even old social media posts where Lena was tagged as his girlfriend, not his cousin. I stared at the evidence for an hour. The lies went deeper than I'd imagined. Lena had invented an entire fake relationship dynamic to explain away her affair. She'd gaslit me, manipulated me, and stolen from me, all while pretending to be the victim. I forwarded Monica's messages to a few mutual friends who'd been harassing me. Within an hour, the tide shifted. The people who'd been calling me heartless went silent. Some even apologized, but I wasn't interested in apologies. I was interested in protecting myself. I changed the locks on my apartment. I cancelled every subscription and service that had her name attached. I removed her from my bank accounts and my insurance, every financial tie severed cleanly. Then I sent her one final message. "I know Caleb isn't your cousin. I know you've been lying about everything. Don't contact me again." I blocked her number before she could respond. That night, I slept better than I had in months. The uncertainty was over. The truth was out, and I was finally free. Lena didn't stay quiet for long. 2 days after I blocked her, she showed up at my apartment building. The doorman called up. "There's a Lena here asking to see you." I told him to send her away. She started yelling in the lobby, loud enough that I could hear her from my floor. Security had to escort her out. She left a note under my door later that night. It was pages long, a mix of apologies, justifications, and accusations. She claimed Caleb meant nothing. That she only lied because she thought I'd overreact, that I was ruining her life by cutting her off. The note ended with a threat. "If you don't help me, I'll lose everything, and everyone will know it's your fault." I photographed the note and filed it away. Then I reached out to a lawyer just to be safe. He told me to document everything, keep all communication, and avoid engaging with her directly. "People like this escalate," he said. "Protect yourself." I took his advice seriously. I started keeping a journal of every incident, every message, every interaction. If this got worse, I'd be ready. The following week, Lena's financial reality started crashing down. Without my support, she couldn't cover her rent. Her landlord sent an eviction notice. She posted about it online, painting herself as a victim of circumstance. When the person you love abandons you, life gets hard fast. Her friends rallied around her at first. Riley started a fundraiser to help with rent. It raised $400, not nearly enough. Then Monica's screenshots started circulating. People began asking questions. Why had Lena lied about Caleb? What else had she lied about? The fundraiser comments turned hostile. People demanded refunds. Riley took it down and stopped answering Lena's calls. I watched it all unfold from a distance, feeling no satisfaction, just a strange sadness. She'd built her life on lies, and now those lies were collapsing. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding. I started going to the gym again. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected. I focused on my work and got a promotion I'd been too distracted to pursue before. For the first time in years, I felt like myself again. Lena tried reaching out through new numbers, fake social media accounts, even mutual acquaintances. Every message was the same, desperate pleas for money, for another chance for me to remember the good times. I didn't respond to any of them. Then she tried a different approach. She contacted my mother. My mom called me, confused. Lena says you're keeping her belongings hostage and won't let her get her things. I sighed. Mom, I left her stuff in boxes by the building manager. She picked them up last week. My mother paused. She said you owe her money, that you promised to help her and then backed out. I explained everything. The lies, the affair, the financial manipulation. My mom listened quietly. When I finished, she said, I'm sorry you went through that. You did the right thing. It felt good to hear that, to have someone validate my decision. But it also hurt, because I'd loved Lena. I'd wanted a future with her, and she'd thrown it all away for lies and attention. By the end of the month, Lena had moved in with Caleb. I found out through Monica, who was still keeping tabs on him. She's pretending everything's fine, Monica said, but he's already sick of her. She has no money and no job. She's completely dependent on him now. I felt a flicker of something, not quite pity, but close. She traded one safety net for another, but Caleb wasn't me. He had no patience for her games. Within 2 weeks, they were fighting publicly. Someone sent me a screenshot of Lena's post. When you realized the person you thought cared about you was just using you. The irony was almost funny. She'd used me for stability while chasing Caleb for excitement. Now Caleb was using her for convenience, and she was finally experiencing what I'd felt, but I didn't reach out. I didn't gloat. I just kept living my life, one day at a time, getting stronger and clearer about what I wanted. And what I wanted didn't include anyone who treated love like a transaction. 3 months after everything fell apart, I met someone new. Her name was Zara. She worked in tech, had her own apartment, and paid for her own everything. On our first coffee date, she insisted on splitting the bill. I don't like owing anyone, she said with a smile. It was refreshing. We took things slow. No pressure, no games, just honesty. She knew about Lena. I didn't hide it. That sounds exhausting, Zara said when I told her the story. I'm sorry you went through that. She didn't pry, she didn't judge, she just listened. For the first time since Lena, I felt hopeful about the future. Meanwhile, Lena's life continued its downward spiral. She'd lost her job after missing too many shifts. Caleb kicked her out when she couldn't contribute to rent. She moved back in with her parents, who were furious about the whole situation. Her dad made her get a job at a call center. No more glamorous marketing career. No more expensive brunches. Just reality hitting her hard and fast. I heard all this through the grapevine. I didn't seek it out, but people kept updating me, maybe thinking I'd want to know. Honestly, I just felt tired. Tired of the drama. Tired of her chaos touching my life. One evening, I got a message from an unknown number. It was long and rambling. Lena had written it from her mother's phone. She apologized for everything. She admitted the lies about Caleb. She confessed to using my money. She said she was in therapy now, finally facing the truth about herself. I created a fantasy life I expected you to pay for, she wrote. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I needed you to know I'm sorry. I read it twice. Part of me wanted to respond, to tell her I appreciated the honesty. But another part, the part that remembered the gaslighting, the manipulation, the months of betrayal, that part stayed silent. I deleted the message. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. Forgiving her wouldn't change what happened. It wouldn't give me back the time I lost or the trust she destroyed. Some apologies come too late. Some bridges once burned should stay that way. I closed my phone and went back to my life. A life that was finally, blessedly mine again. Zara and I became official after 2 months. She met my friends, I met hers. Everything felt easy, natural. One night over dinner, she asked about Lena. Not in a jealous way, just curious. Do you ever regret how it ended? I thought about it. No, I regret how long it took me to see the truth, but I don't regret leaving. Zara nodded. Good, because you deserve someone who respects you. That simple statement meant more than she knew. Respect. It was the one thing Lena never gave me. Meanwhile, I heard Lena tried reaching out to some of my friends, hoping they'd mediate. They all declined. One of them, Jason, told me about it. She wanted me to convince you to help her financially, said she was desperate. I shook my head. What did you say? Jason grinned. I said she made her choices, now she gets to live with them. It was harsh maybe, but it was also true. Lena had every opportunity to be honest. To treat me like a partner instead of a resource. She chose differently, and consequences don't care about regret. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Caleb at a coffee shop. He was alone, looking tired. He saw me and hesitated, then walked over. Hey Marcus, I nodded. Caleb, he sat down without asking. Look, I know you probably hate me. I didn't respond, he continued. Lena and I, it was a mess. She lied to both of us, told me you two were basically over, told you I was her cousin. I didn't know until everything blew up. I studied his face. He seemed genuine, but I didn't care. Why are you telling me this? He sighed. Because I feel like an idiot, and because she's still trying to play people. She hit up my friends for money, making up stories. I wanted you to know in case she comes after you again. I appreciated the warning, even if it came from him. Thanks, but I'm done with anything involving her. He nodded. Smart man. He left, and I sat there thinking. Lena had burned through everyone. Me, Caleb, her friends, her family. At some point, you run out of people to use. A year after everything ended, I was thriving. I got another promotion at work. Zara and I moved in together, splitting everything fairly down the middle. My savings account, which had been drained during my time with Lena, was healthy again. I felt proud of where I was. One Saturday, Zara and I were at a farmer's market when I saw her. Lena, she was working at a produce stand, bagging vegetables for customers. She looked different, thinner, tired. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She glanced up and our eyes met. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she looked away quickly, her face flushing. Zara noticed. Is that her? I nodded. Zara squeezed my hand. You okay? I realized I was. Seeing Lena didn't hurt anymore. It didn't make me angry. I just felt nothing. Yeah, I'm good. We walked past without stopping. Behind us, I heard Lena's voice crack as she thanked a customer. It was sad in a way, but it wasn't my responsibility anymore. She'd made her choices. I'd made mine. And my choices led me here, to happiness, stability, and peace. That night, Zara asked me how I felt about seeing Lena. Honestly, I felt relieved. She tilted her head. Relieved, I nodded. Relieved that I got out. Relieved that I didn't stay and let her keep draining me. Relieved that I chose myself. Zara smiled. I'm glad you did, otherwise we wouldn't be here. She was right. If I'd stayed with Lena, if I'd kept enabling her lies, I'd still be miserable. Instead, I was with someone who valued partnership, honesty, and independence. A few days later, I got a message from Riley, Lena's old best friend. I owe you an apology. I didn't believe you at first, but I saw the truth eventually. I'm sorry I attacked you. I appreciated it, but I didn't dwell on it. The people who mattered had stood by me. The ones who hadn't weren't worth the energy. I thanked Riley for reaching out and left it at that. Life was too good to spend time rehashing the past. 2 years after the breakup, I proposed to Zara. We were on a hiking trail, the city stretched out below us, and it just felt right. She said yes immediately, laughing and crying at the same time. Planning the wedding was fun. No drama, no manipulation, just two people building a future together. One afternoon, while going through the guest list, Zara paused. Do you think Lena knows you're getting married? I shrugged. Probably. Social media makes everything public. Zara hesitated. Does it bother you? I thought about it. No, she's not part of my life anymore. What she knows or doesn't know doesn't matter. And I meant it. Lena was a chapter I'd closed, a lesson I'd learned, but she wasn't my story anymore. My story was about growth, about choosing better, about building something real with someone who deserved it. The wedding came and went. It was perfect. Small, intimate, filled with people who genuinely cared about us. No chaos, no lies, just love and commitment. Everything Lena and I never had. 3 years post-breakup, I heard through Monica that Lena had finally gotten her life somewhat together. She was working a stable job, living in a small apartment, still in therapy. She'd apparently stopped trying to contact anyone from her past. She's alone now, Monica said. No friends, no relationships, just work and therapy. I didn't feel triumphant hearing that. I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt sad for her. She'd spent so much time building fantasies that she forgot how to live in reality. But that sadness didn't mean I regretted my choices. It didn't mean I should have stayed or helped or enabled her longer. Sometimes people need to hit rock bottom before they can rebuild. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is let them fall, because catching them only delays the inevitable. Zara and I celebrated our first anniversary. We took a trip to the coast, spent days walking on the beach, talking about our future. Kids, maybe, a house with a yard, simple dreams built on solid ground. This was the life I'd always wanted, and I'd never have found it if I'd stayed trapped in Lena's lies. 4 years later, I was at a coffee shop working on my laptop when someone approached my table. I looked up. It was Lena. She looked different, healthier, her eyes were clearer. Hi Marcus, can I sit for a minute? I hesitated, then nodded. She sat down, hands folded in her lap. I'm not here to ask for anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, really sorry for everything. I stayed quiet, letting her continue. I've been in therapy for years now. I understand what I did. How I manipulated you, how I used you, there's no excuse for it. She paused, her voice shaking slightly. You deserve so much better, and I'm glad you found it. I took a breath. Thank you for saying that. She nodded. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I needed you to hear it. She stood up to leave. I hope you're happy, Marcus, I really do. I watched her walk away, disappearing into the crowd, and for the first time since everything happened, I felt genuine closure. Not because she apologized, but because I realized I didn't need her apology to move on. I'd already moved on years ago. That evening, I told Zara about the encounter. She listened carefully. How do you feel? I smiled. I feel free, completely free. And I was. Lena's apology didn't change my life. It didn't heal old wounds or rewrite history. but it confirmed something I already knew. I'd made the right choice. Walking away from her wasn't cruel. It was necessary. It was self-preservation. It was choosing a future over fantasy. Zara and I talked late into the night about forgiveness, about growth, about how people change, sometimes too late. Do you think she'll be okay? Zara asked. I considered it. Maybe, I hope so, but it's not my responsibility anymore. She nodded, understanding. The next morning I woke up feeling lighter than I had in years. The weight of that old relationship, the anger, the betrayal, the confusion, it was finally completely gone. I was free to live my life without looking back. And that freedom was worth everything I'd walked away from. 5 years after the breakup, Zara and I welcomed our first child. A daughter. Holding her in the hospital, watching my wife smile at me with pure love and trust, I realized how far I'd come. This was the life I'd fought for. The life I'd chosen when I walked away from lies and manipulation. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how things ended with Lena. The answer is always no, because that ending led me here, to genuine love, to partnership built on respect, to family built on honesty. Lena taught me what I didn't want. She showed me the cost of staying with someone who sees you as a resource instead of a person. And in a strange way, I'm grateful for that lesson, because it made me strong enough to recognize real love when I found it. I never saw Lena again after that coffee shop. I don't know where she is or what she's doing, and that's okay. Her story isn't mine to tell anymore. Mine is here, with my wife, with my daughter. With the life I built from the ruins of betrayal, and it's a beautiful life.